Well, hello everyone, welcome to another video. It is me, Desiree, and today we're doing the if I lost all my makeup, this is the stuff I would buy first video. I was just thinking to myself, every now and then there's like an old idea that comes back and it like takes the YouTube world by storm. And right now it's that idea. And I love everybody's videos, even people I don't even watch or subscribe to, they're coming up in my recommended, so I'm watching them all. And it's really interesting to see what people would buy. And when I was trying to gather up the products I would buy first, a lot of them like sprang to hand very quickly. Like I knew exactly what I was gonna buy. There were a couple of categories and I honestly couldn't even think of one. Like for example, foundations. I was like, would I even go buy a foundation first thing? I don't think so. But if I had to, I picked one anyway just to share with you. One that I would go buy first if I like had to. If someone forced me to buy a foundation. But realistically, if like say my luggage was lost and I had no makeup on my trip, realistically, if I go to the store, there are three things I'm gonna buy. My bare bones essentials, and it's brows, concealer, and mascara. Those are the three things I'm gonna buy. So those are the only three things I picked out. And then I was like, well, I really should just pick something in every category, like the stuff I would buy first thing if I had to, if I really wanted a full face of makeup. But realistically, I don't think that most people are going out and buying a full face of makeup in an emergency. I mean, maybe some people are, who knows? And who knows, if it happened to me, I might be one of those people. But for this video, I was trying to think of in a really realistic situation. I'm only buying three things. Well, it's 4 items, but it's 3 steps, you know? So first, it would be concealer. And of course, I'm sure some of you already know which one it's gonna be. It's the Kulfi Main Match Concealer in the shade Ice Ice Berry. I feel like I talk about this quite a bit on my channel. It's just the best concealer ever. It has blown all of my concealers out of the water, like all of them. This is the best concealer that I've ever used. I feel like I've used a lot of great concealers in my life, in my makeup using life, but this, no one holds a candle to it. It's amazing. So it has such a beautiful formula. It's creamy, a little bit thick, but not in a scary way. It's thick where it feels like it's gonna be moisturizing and it's gonna hang on all day. It spreads very, very easily on the skin. It's very moisturizing. So this would be great for dry under eyes. It works great on the whole face. I use this on my under eyes all the time. It does not settle into fine lines or creases whatsoever all day. It'll stay perfectly fine on my under eyes. If you put too much, yes, it's going to crease, but that kind of goes without saying for any concealer. So start slow with it. Don't put a ton on. It's not like over the top heavy duty coverage. Like you don't need to do just one teeny little dot. But like with any concealer, you could always add more. So start slow with it. But it's the best concealer ever. And honestly, when I was pulling out these products, pretty much all of them are from the drugstore, which I found interesting. But also, like I said, I was thinking realistically. Like realistically, I'm not going to go to Sephora and try to buy, you know, and I honestly couldn't even think of like a brow pencil I wanted from Sephora. I mean, the Kosas one is really good, but it wouldn't be my first choice just because price probably. But this, I would go out of my way to buy this concealer. From what I can see, they only sell it at Sephora, and I've actually only seen it online with Sephora as well, at least where I live. So I would go out of my way to buy this. So let's put a little of it on. I'm gonna do under eyes, and then I'm just gonna kind of pat whatever's left on the brush, like around my face. And honestly, when I was picking out these products, like I said, I could not figure out a foundation because I was thinking also, like, if I lost all of those foundations, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to repurchase all of them again. I would like to have them, and I feel like over time, I'd probably repurchase a couple that I really liked and wanted to have again. But there aren't a lot in there that if I lost, I feel like I would really miss. Like, oh, that's my favorite, I need that. Isn't that interesting to think about? Like, I feel like I would be so sad if I lost all of this stuff, but what would I repurchase? I probably would just start buying whatever's new, whatever's out right now, and trying it out rather than trying to rebuild the old stuff I already had. You know what I mean? I thought that was interesting that I was thinking like that. I've been trying out a new sunscreen. I've been using all those samples I got in that Sephora sun safety thing. And one of them, actually no, this isn't one I got in that bag. It was one I got at Ulta in a little sample. It's from Coats, C-O-T-S. It's a mineral sunscreen and it's really lovely. Oh my gosh, it's so good. But it is really over the top moisturizing. Like my skin is so thick and heavy with moisturizer right now. I probably should have skipped the moisturizer and I didn't think about it. All right, so there's the concealer blended out on the under eyes and a little on the face. I just love the way that this looks, especially on the skin. As if you're wanting to do it all over, it just looks so natural and pretty. Skin-like, but nothing too crazy, but it does cover and make me feel a little more comfortable. I hope they come out with a foundation one day, because if it's anything like this, like, it's gonna be amazing and I'd buy it in a heartbeat. I love this. This is definitely like ride or die status. And powder actually didn't even come to my mind. I had to think about it just now. But if I had to buy one, it would be the Hard Candy Sheer Envy loose powder. I couldn't think of one, to be honest, and I was like, what powder would I go buy first? Like any of them? I'm sure like I'd buy the L'Oreal Infallible pressed powder. I'd buy that one. I like that one a lot. But if I'm doing something really light, I'd probably go for this one. And I love this right now. It's like my favorite thing. So let's do a little of this. But realistically, I'm not gonna buy powder. I'm just doing the concealer and then we're gonna move on to brows. But I thought I would just share with you the other products that I picked, because why not? And I'm gonna put a little of this on my neck because that sunscreen, like I said, is so moisturizing. And I noticed on the days that I didn't set the sunscreen on my neck, when I went in with bronzer, you know how we all have like these lines on our necks? The bronzer was like settling in there with the moisturizer and it looked disgusting. It was all like blotchy all over my neck. It was so ugly. And I think even my boyfriend had noticed it that day. He's like, what is that? And I'm like, it's freaking bronzer stuck onto my moisturizer. Okay, the bronzer I would go for, like this is one of those products that sprung right to my hand. It's the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. This is the shade Natural, 01 Natural. The lid did break off. I've used a bunch of this and I love it. This is just my favorite thing. And although I love a lot of bronzers, like there were a lot that came to mind that I thought, oh, I would love to repurchase that again one day, it wasn't gonna be the first thing that I purchased. You know, the NARS one, the NARS Laguna Cream Bronzer, that one came to my mind right away, but you know, realistically, I'm not gonna go buy that first thing, but I would buy that in time. And I thought it was interesting, like watching everyone's videos, you know, people have this huge like bin full of stuff, like this is all the stuff I'd buy first. But you know, obviously it's a hypothetical situation, but I tried to think of it realistically. Like if I was like on a trip with my lost luggage. For blush was a hard one too because it's not like a necessity for me. Don't get me wrong, I love wearing blush every single day, but if I could only have my bare bones things, blush is not one of them. But there were two blushes that came to mind that I thought, if I had to buy a blush, those are the ones I'd buy first. First, Revlon Naughty Nude. I mean, I'm sure some of you saw this coming. This is my favorite blush, and it's just the prettiest shade. It's nude for my skin tone, but it also has a little bit of rosiness to it. It's a really pretty satin finish. I think Revlon's blushes are severely underrated. It doesn't swatch like anything, of course, but I love this color a lot. It goes with everything. It looks pretty just like on the eyes, on the cheeks really quick, just to give me a little something on my eyes and my cheeks. I love this. I think it's so good. But the other one that came to mind was Revlon Milani Luminoso. And you know, in any other circumstances probably wouldn't have been my first choice or my second choice, but I'm having like a love affair with this blush over the last couple of months and I love it. Like right away I thought, I want a fun blush. If I'm feeling all sad because all of my makeup has disappeared, I want a blush that's gonna make me feel super happy. And although I love Revlon and I love this blush, this is the happy blush. This is the one that's like, it's okay. It's okay that all your makeup is lost and you had to go buy some stuff at the drugstore real quick because you're gonna have cockatiel cheeks in a second and everything's gonna be okay. You know what I mean? And I do have a whole video on this blush where I demonstrate it. I do a whole look that I was obsessed with. I wore that look multiple days in a row, all over my cheeks just like I did now. It's on my eyes too. Like that blush was all over my face and I loved it. I loved that look. Definitely one of my favorite videos I've done all year. I'll link it down below in case you want to see me just overload on blush like I am now. Let's tone that down just a tad. I know the video looks bright here, but where I am in my room, it's a little bit dim just because the sun just hasn't gone that way in the sky yet to light up my room. So on my end, it does look a little dim and it doesn't look like I have that much blush on, but you know what? We're just gonna go with it. Highlighter, honestly, I wouldn't buy one at all because not only does this blush have a lot of highlighter in it, but highlighter isn't like an essential part of my routine. And if I'm thinking like just my bare bones essentials, highlighter is definitely not one of them. But I did pick out a couple that I thought I would mention. Like one of these is definitely one I would buy first if I was, but then I think again, like realistically, if I lost all of them, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to repurchase all the ones I already had. I probably would just go for something that's already out and that's new and wanting to try something else. You know what I mean? But I still picked out 3 of my favorites that I would love to repurchase if I lost all my makeup. And 2 of them are Revlon. Why do I keep saying Revlon for everything? The Maybelline Master Chrome Highlighters. These are criminally underrated on YouTube and I wish more people would talk about them, buy them, and use them on their channels. I say that, but then I never talk about them. But these are so good. I've had these for a really, really long time. This one is the shade 250. It's this really pretty, like white pearl color. You can do a little with these, you can do a lot, very, very shiny. And then the one here called Molten Rose Gold, the lid did break off. Again, one of my absolute favorites here. Really, really shiny and intense and pretty on the skin. They don't look chunky or anything like that. They're really, really nice. And of course, I'm always worried they're gonna get discontinued because at least where I work, Maybelline puts these on the bottom shelf. They're really good. But another one of my favorites, this realistically is probably one I'd buy first. It's the Wet n Wild Hello Halo Blushlighter in the shade I Met Someone. This is the best. This is so, so pretty. I absolutely adore this color. It's not gonna swatch amazing. I don't even think I'm gonna bother swatching it because it's not gonna look that good, but it looks like glass on your face. It's so pretty. I have all of these in the permanent line. I think all of them are stunning. They're so pretty. But realistically, I wouldn't buy a highlighter, but I'm just gonna go with what I have on my cheeks right now. Okay, brows is one of my essential things. So concealer, brows, mascara are my bare bones essentials. First thing I'm buying. And what I would buy first is why do I keep calling everything Revlon? The Rimmel Kind and Free Brow Definer Pencil. So I love this. I can't believe how much I love this pencil. I bought it just to buy it, honestly, because it was new and it was from Rimmel and it was cute and it's nice. I just like holding these little slim brow pencils. I don't know what it is. I have here the shade Espresso, and I think what really made this one like amazing for me is that it's slightly darker and slightly cooler than I normally go for, or that I normally find in a pencil for myself. And I loved it. I loved the color and the tone of this so much. Unfortunately, I did use it up. I had to get this out of my empties bin. So I'm just going to use the one that I currently have on hand, which is the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. This is another one of my all-time favorite brow pencils in the shade Dark Brunette. But I would go for the Revlon one first though, because it is a little cheaper and I just like the tone a little more. So let's do brows and then we will move on. Okay, brow pencil is on, and the other brow thing I would buy, like non-negotiable, is the NYX Thick It Stick It Thickening Brow Mascara. I have here the shade Cool Ash Brown. I love this. This is definitely one of the best things NYX has. Is it the second best? Maybe their loose pigments are definitely high on my list. But this is amazing. I've been using this since last February. I think I bought it in February of last year. I did use one all the way up already. I was trying not to repurchase it because I wanted to use up the brow gels I already have, but I couldn't resist. I think like maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month went by and I had to get it again, and that's exactly what happened. I haven't used anything else since. It's a little bit of a bigger wand, but it has a really great kind of not too thick of brow jelly goop on it with some fibers, and it just makes my brows look really thick, and I feel natural, as natural as drawn on eyebrows can look. I think this makes them look pretty nice and fluffy, and I love everything about it. And it's a non-negotiable. I'd buy it in a heartbeat. And I do have a whole video on this as well where I demonstrate it on bare brows, like without a pencil, and show you how it kind of works for that as well. But this, love it. Okay, next is eyeshadow. And eyeshadow was, again, one of those things I'm not going to buy first thing, but if I wanted something to feel like put together and something I could just throw it on, like easy peasy, don't have to think about it at all, you know what I'm gonna say. It's CoverGirl Shimmering Sands Trio. I don't know why I love this so much. And I don't know why it took me so long to use it and to try it, is because, I mean, it just looks so boring in the pan, right? It's 3 shimmer shadows, although they don't seem shimmery. They're shimmery, but they're more of like a extreme satin finish, I think, rather than a shimmer, because for these shadows, I'm not gonna get one on my finger and pat it all over the lid to look like a shimmery pop. These look great in the crease, on the lid, above the crease. They're great all over the place. I don't think they accentuate texture or anything like that, at least on my eyelids, and I do have a lot of eyelid skin to deal with. I love this a lot. It's the perfect amount of like little something on my eyes, makes me feel a little more put together, and takes like a second to blend. I literally get this on my brush. I just mush the brush in it like this, all over the lid, in the crease. No fallout at all. I don't even dust off the excess. No fallout will happen. It'll blend easily. You can't mess it up because it's just so, so good. And one of those formulas I kind of wish CoverGirl would do a little bit more of, but I'm glad they keep this around and the other trios that look just like this, because it's the same kind of really nice extreme satin finish. It's really good. And then the other eyeshadow that I actually would go out of my way to buy and go to a different store, because obviously a lot of the stuff I've showed you so far, you could probably get at CVS. I know I would say Walgreens normally, but Walgreens doesn't carry Essence and CVS does carry Essence, so CVS is probably where I'm going to go for most of this stuff. But the eyeshadow I would go out of my way for is the MAC Longwear Paint Pot in the shade Groundwork. This is another one of my favorite things. I can't believe how much I love this. And it's one of those things I kind of was very resistant to wanting to like because it's so boring. It's just a creamy brown eyeshadow, but there's nothing wrong with that. And also, this is anything but boring. It's the weirdest color. I don't even know how to describe it because it looks like it would be brown in here, just like a basic brown. But once I get it on my eyes, it just has like this beautiful, like cool undertone. It's a little bit taupey. There's just a lot going on with it. It's not like you're not a flat matte color either. I love it. This is definitely a classic for a reason, and now I get it. So I'm gonna put on both of these actually. I'm just gonna get this one with my finger, pat it all over the lid. This does long wear as well. Like the name, it totally lives up to the name. I use this on the lower lash line as well, like on a little pencil brush. And it's great. I just kind of blob it all over, blend it with my ring finger, just kind of up a little bit, just to give my eye a little bit of color. This isn't one of those cream eyeshadows though that I would build up. You know, if you wanted to get more color, I don't think it looks that good. I would say just go with what you first got, and then that's kind of it. At least that's been my experience. But there's nothing wrong with that. I think it looks great on first pass. There we go. Perfect. And then I am going to go in with the CoverGirl one just because why not? Here's a brush. I don't use that color a whole lot. I do love that color though on the inner corner, but I don't use it a lot on the lids. It's just a little too bright, but it's really good if you want a bright pop. So I'm just going to kind of mix these two together and just put some here in the crease and above the crease, just kind of like around. And like I said, it's kind of dark in here, although it's bright outside. So I feel like I went a little crazy over here in the outer corner, but it's good. Nothing too crazy. I just kind of over blended the cream eyeshadow, I think, with my finger here. And and mascara. Well, I guess setting spray. Setting spray is one of them. If I had to buy one, which like I said, it's not going to be one of the things I go for first, but I would go for one of the little Wet n Wild primer water things. Definitely the rose one's probably the first one I'm going to go for. I love these. They're really easy to use. The sprayers are so good. They all have really good scents to them. The spray is like this big. It's super fine and nice. And it's great. I really love these a lot, and I think they're like $5. So you don't get a ton and you'll kind of go through them very quickly, but in a pinch, and even not in a pinch, like I'd buy this again just because I like it. Really, really good. But I'm not gonna do any setting spray today. Do I feel like it? Nah. Okay, mascara is the last thing, and this was one of the non-negotiable items that I would go for. But oddly enough, when I opened up my mascara thing here, it was none of the ones I had in here. Like, although I like all of these and I have them all for a reason, I like and enjoy using them, not one of them was gonna be the one that I would be like, okay, that's the one I have to get first. It's the best one. It's the one I want to use. The one I would want to go for first is probably the Maybelline Sky High mascara. I don't have that currently with me, but it looks like this. This is the primer one, so it's white, but the tube is normally like a nice pink color. That's the one I'd probably go for first, especially if I'm just doing concealer, brows, and mascara. I usually want the mascara to be like big on my lashes. I want the lashes to be kind of like overshadowing the lids that most likely will have no eyeshadow on them. So I'm just going to use something else. I'm just going to use the Covergirl Exhibitionist mascara, and we'll just pretend that it's Sky High. So gonna put this on and we'll wrap it up. And I'm gonna put setting spray on, why not? And this isn't even actually the Wet n Wild that's in here, it's the Pixie Makeup Fixing Mist, which is another amazing setting spray, but not the one I'd buy first, if I'm being honest. Okay, I changed my mind. Every single time I use this mascara, I forget how freaking good it is. It's just so thickening. So thickening and volumizing and lengthening, like it does everything I want in a mascara. I've changed my mind. I think this is gonna be the one I go for first. The CoverGirl Exhibitionist Stretch and Strengthen Mascara. Okay, and that is it. Those are the products I would purchase first if I lost all of my makeup. I know I didn't talk about foundation because honestly, if I was repurchasing stuff, foundation isn't going to be the first thing that I go for. It would be concealer, like without a doubt. But I did pick out two that I feel like I would want to purchase again to have. And the first one honestly would be the Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation. Well, if I'm being perfectly honest, it'd be the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation, but this one is no longer with us. So I would go for this one. Not only is it a great formula, it's just a basic liquid foundation. Great coverage, wears all day, looks good all day. Towards the end of my workday, I do notice it looking a little bit shiny, so take a little blotting paper with you or some powder, however you like to kind of blot your face. But this is so, so good, and it's $5. So, so lovely. And the other one I really enjoy is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. I think this one's great too. It's called like a tinted hydrator, like it's going to be a tinted moisturizer, but this is like a medium coverage foundation. It looks great on the skin, again, wears all day, very pretty, and super cheap. So this is probably another one of the first ones I'd go for if I lost everything. Ooh, someone's calling me. Well, I ended up being on the phone for 30 minutes and I completely forgot what I was talking about. I think I finished off foundation though, right? Let's just wrap it up, shall we? So, bare bones, I would only buy brows. I would buy the brow gel, a brow pencil, concealer, of course my baby over here, and then what was the other thing? Mascara. I would buy mascara. But everything else that I mentioned, you know, if I wanted a nice like full face of makeup, a nice full face look, these are the things I would buy first if I lost all my makeup. So that is it. Let me know some of the stuff you would buy first if you lost all of your makeup or your makeup went missing and you were on a trip or something like that. I would love to know what your bare bones essentials are. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And I will see you later in another video. Goodbye.